Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to Star Trek Away Missions, the miniature board game. This is the Romulan expansion, specifically Commander Sela. So yeah, you can definitely go back, check out the first 3 videos I did where I went over the base game. In the first one, talked about like how to play the game, all that fun stuff, and then parts 2 and 3 were going over the Federation team and the board team, which are from the core set. I have also done an unboxing for the first Klingon set. Now, there's going to be more teams that are coming out as time goes on. And I'll definitely add more of them. There's a second Klingon, there's a second Federation. It'll be interesting to see how all those differ from each other. So, time will only tell if there'll be more Romulans or not, or if we'll have any other teams like that. So the first thing we're going to go do is we're going to go through all of our different characters. Then we'll go through the card decks. So first up, I'm going to put this back up for just a sec. I got to find the different characters. I don't know them just by looking at them off the top of my head yet. But tall. There we go. Alright, so let's hop in first look at our mixers. These guys are going to be green. Help set them apart from the red, blue, and gray guys. Come on, focus for me. There's nothing else on here for you to focus on. There you go. Alright, so this is our leader. This is Sela, the main commander. As you can see, she has a blaster there. A little bit of different armor. A bunch of belts with pockets everywhere. A little different floorboard on the bottom. And her name. So let's go ahead and look at her character board and see what she does. Alright, so she's our captain. She's part of the IRW Garaxus, that's the name of our ship. She has specialties in commander, diplomacy, and treachery ×2. So anytime she does a treachery skill check, she just actually roll 2 extra dice. They mention it in the core book about having multiples, and it's funny that it doesn't appear until an expansion. But there might be characters that can, like the board might be able to gain multiple based on different effects. She has Romulan, Human, and Commander. So that's our first double race character. So that could definitely play an aspect on some things here or there. So if there's anything that ever affects humans or Romulans, she could get both or be hurt by both. We have her main weapons, or her disruptor, which just does +1 attack dice, no other extra damage or special rules. She has Mastermind. When Sela activates, go to the top 2 cards of your support deck. Then put 1 back on the top of the deck and the other on the bottom of the deck. So what you don't want to do with her is during her turn is just when she activates, you get an automatic free check. Get 2 support cards, you get choose one and discard, basically put the other one back on the deck. So you do like cycle through your support cards a lot more often. She has 2 attack, 3 defense, 3 skill, and 2 enforced spaces. So, not bad stats at all. Definitely. We gotta flip over and read the back of it yet. Everything in me that was human died today with my mother. That's all that's left is Romulan. Never doubt that. Commander Sela is the daughter of Tasha Yar, previously the chief security officer on the Federation's USS Enterprise, has a striking likeness to her mother. I did not know that. That's pretty cool. A high-ranking officer in the Romulan military, Sela led many of the Empire's covert attempts to cause conflict between the Klingons and the Federation. So they're meddlers. Very cool. Alright, our next Romulan is going to be this guy right here. This is Tybok. So he's kind of got like that like Y harness on with the belts and stuff. He has this blaster kind of aimed down. It's like maybe he's like, maybe they see my blaster. Maybe I'll fire it. So there we go. Let's see what he gets to do for us. He is our chief security officer, part of the IRW Graxus as well. He has specialties in medical science and treachery. Romulan are specialists, and he also has Taishar. So that's going to be a keyword that's going to pop up a lot in this set as well. He has a disruptor as well, and manipulator. Whenever Tybok scores a covert mission during an activation, he gains an intel token. The Romulans are going to use intel tokens as essentially like a type of currency to help pay for extra abilities. They gain data on stuff, and they can then use that to exploit extra weaknesses or get extra dice and do things like that. He has 2 attack, 2 defense, and 3 skills, so 1 less defense than Sela, but he's got the 2 and 4 movement. Alright, Talbot specializes in missions to recruit enemy personnel as agents for the Tal Shar, the Secret Intelligence Service. In 2367, he was tasked to covertly brainwashing a Federation officer, Geordie LaForge. The plan was to use him as an assassin to Klingon Governor Avon. Ooh, sinister. Alright, our third one is we get 5 characters in this set, so it's kind of cool. Is we have Patal. So yeah, they have the same basic uniforms. He gets a data pad that he's playing on. It's actually surprising good detail on those as well. And then a little blaster. Otherwise, they kind of all have a very similar look, which is, makes sense for the characters. Alright, we have... He's got way less abilities on there. He's the operations officer. IRW Graxus. Engineering, treachery, Romulan, and another Tal Shiar. He just has a disruptor, no other special abilities. 1 attack, 2 defense, 3 skill, and 2 and 4 movement. So not as much health as the other guys either. And these guys aren't going to be as strong as everyone else. Like, I think the Borg are probably overall the weakest, but that's because their whole idea is they can keep assimilating other characters and growing their forces back if someone dies. So it's not a big problem for them. I think then the Federation and Klingon usually have the highest amount of health points. And then the Romulans kind of fall towards the middle, but they're all about basically avoiding attacks anyhow. Alright, we have Patal dreamed of adventure and excitement when he would join the Tal Shiar, a secret intelligence service. That didn't seem likely when he was assigned to the Graxus. What he deemed to be an uneventful assignment turned out to be nothing of the sort. Under his command, Sela and the crew of the Graxus took part in many schemes to destabilize the treaty between the Federation and the Klingons. Very cool. Alright, our 4th one, and this guy gets a blaster rifle, which is pretty fun. I just wish this would focus better. Alright, this is Vox. So again, very same type of bowl-cutted, form-fitting hairstyle, like hedgy-ish pants, but that V-type harness, Y harness, I guess it would be. But he gets a disruptor rifle instead. And there's Vox. So let's jump in and look at his little board here. He's a security officer for the IRW Graxus. So they all should be part of the same ship. Computers and securities and Romulan. His disruptor rifle has +2 for the attack rate, so a little bit stronger. He has 1 attack, 2 defense, 3 skill, and moves 2 or 4 spaces. So nothing monumental out there, but another member that can do extra stuff. Vox, a security officer on the Romulan warbird Graxus, were closest Salatrell, his childhood friend. The friendship would become so much more when Salatrell became his commander of the Avatar of Tomed. After his assimilation by the Borg, Vox became their speaker to the Romulan Empire. Oh, so there's something that could be kind of cool later on. They're basically saying he becomes a Borg at some point, so they could release a second Borg expansion where you have him. And then there might be maybe some rules that if, like we saw with Locutus as Picard, as Locutus, it had counterpart, and there may be some rule that states you can't have both players can't have the counterpart in that, so one player has to choose one or the other. Or maybe you just be like, who cares? It's fantasy. Do whatever you want. So that could be an interesting thing. Maybe a later shot test getting some more board characters of different characters they've absorbed over time. And then our last character is the aforementioned Sela. All that is kneel down, blaster in his holsters, playing on a data pad. So again, it gives them a different look than the other characters. Because it's hard when their overall looks are the same. So you gotta do something to make them each stand out a little bit more. Alright, so here's our final character card. He's our medical officer for the IRW Graxus. Medical and security Romulan. He has a disruptor. Attack 1, defense 2, skills 3, which is pretty much standard for all of the guys. The only one that has more is Sela has 1 extra defense. Otherwise, they all have basically the same exact ability. Again, you notice they don't have much attack, but they have a lot of skill. Comparatively, like to the Klingon, which don't have much skill but have a lot of attack. Or they're kind of more like the Borg in that sense, where the Borg had very little attack again, but they had a lot of skill. So it kind of gives them, they're trying to complete tests as opposed to defeating people. Alright, information is Sela grew up in the shadow of her grandfather's defeat by Captain Kirk at the Battle of Icarus IV. When that came to a bigger hatred of the Starfleet and determination to destroy the Captain Picard of the USS Enterprise, even if it meant an alliance with the Borg. Sela later became the commander of her own warbird, the Avatar of Tomed. So this could be also a neat thing they could do later on too. Granted, I don't know how many different characters, or if they're gonna go past just being the next generation stuff, if they're gonna go into original Star Trek or like newer stuff like Discovery or any of that stuff. But if they even stick with this, they could even make some of these characters have alternate cards where, we have Selatrell's ship with her and Vox together. And that could be something interesting as well. Alright, then before we hop into missions, we're going to look at our token sheet. So we have a bunch of different tokens on here. We have some like boards, some cubes, and a little extra one. So the long ones are Intel tokens, which are we aforementioned talked about getting. We have some Borg technology, which are the cubes, and then the last one's the Romulan bomb. So Intel are kind of like our different currency we're going to spend. There are different things where they're trying to gain Borg technology to utilize. And there's one card specifically that will use the Romulan bomb. We'll like to show all those off. Alright, so what are we doing for our core missions? We have the Tal Shiar operation. If you have 5 or more Tal Shiar mission cards in your scoring area at the end of the game, score 30 points. And there's a spot you can place your Intel tokens. Our other option is Borg technology. At the start of the game, place 1 Borg technology token on each mission board, excluding the main corridor. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8, and there's only 4 basic boards, but they're probably giving you more in case something happens to one of them. When you score a covert mission during one of your character's activations, take a science skill test with that character. If passed, place 1 token from that mission board on this card. Score 10 points for each board technology on this card at the end of the game. So there you go. So it's a longer way to maybe get stuff, but it's a different way to go about doing it. Alright, we're going to hop in and look at the mission cards. That is not a mission card. We're going to start off with acceptable losses. So a conspiracy is a brand new one. Interrupt. When playing a friendly character is neutralized, disrupt the 3 cards to score this card. Bonus. Gain 1 Intel token for each card you discard. So hey, one of your characters is going to go ahead and kick the bucket. You may as well gain some bonuses for it, right? Access command terminal. Take a command skill test at the command terminal at the bridge. If a bonus, gain an Intel token. Plus we have covert cards, which we want to do. Always watching. Score this card when a hostile character takes an action that scores a mission within line of sight of your Romulan character. Bonus, gain 1 Intel token. If that mission Your opponent scores with 25 or more points, gain 2 intel tokens instead. So, just gain points and possibly intel tokens for watching somebody else score. And we actually have 2 copies of that. We have 2 copies of Assassination. Scoring your character neutralizes a hostile character. Bonus, gain 3 intel tokens if a neutralized character was a commander. Covert Rendezvous. End game. Score this card at the end of the game if you have 6 or more conspiracy missions in your score area. Change command protocols. Take the command skill test at the command terminal at the bridge. If passed, score the card. Challenge. Any player may challenge the skill test with a character at the command terminal. Bonus, gain 2 intel tokens. This is kind of neat. They have the challenges in here, which we really haven't seen before, which they did do basic actions, but I think like the Federation had ones that just did this, but they're worth like 5 points or 10 points. Theirs are worth more, but there's a possibility that anyone can go ahead and challenge them. So you get one like this, is a little bit simpler one. Corrupt firmware. Take an engineering skill test at operation engine that is not in engineering. Gain intel token. I also like this as a neat fact too, is it has to not be in engineering. So they have a lot of cards. You have to pay attention to where they're telling you. Don't just read, oh, engineering? Oh, okay, nope, this one's not in engineering. We have 2 copies of Counter Move. There's Sela right there, I believe. Challenge all unopposed skill tests on an opponent's mission card with a character at the terminal. If your opponent fails a skill test, score this card. Challenge all unopposed skill tests on an opponent's mission card with a character at a terminal. Cool. So if someone's at a terminal, you can go ahead and freely challenge them. And if they fail, you score this card. And bonus, gain intel token. Disable security protocols. Take a security test at the operations terminal in neither the bridge nor the engineers. So they're kind of going to stay away from where you think they would be for this stuff. Challenge. Any player may challenge this at an operation terminal. Download medical records. Take a skill test at the medical terminal in the sick bay. Challenge. Anyone at operation terminal. Bonus, gain 2 intel. Download ship database. Score this card with characters at the command terminal at the bridge, an operations terminal in engineering, or a science terminal in a science lab if you have 2 other characters at the other 2 terminals. Bonus, gain 3 intel tokens and insert the support deck for any event card. So this is worth a lot, but you have to have your team kind of spread out. There's a good look at one of their costumes, like it's kind of like puffy blue with like that Y harness. File fake science report. Take a skill test. Science skill test as science terminal is not in the science lab. Score, gain intel. Filling in the blanks. Interrupt. Score this card when a hostile character takes an action that scores a mission worth 25 points or more in line of sight of one of your Tal Shiar characters. Gain a bonus action. So this is a little bit more limited because they have to be a certain point level, and they have to have the Tal Shiar keyword, but just keeping that in your hand when you're using one of those characters to gain extra 10 points isn't definitely bad. Infiltrate engineer. Take an engineering skill test at operation terminal engineer. Immediately take a treachery skill test with a different character at any other terminal in engineer. If both tests pass, score. Bonus, gain 2 intel tokens. Infiltrate science lab. Take a science skill test at a science lab in a terminal. Take a treachery, a different character in a science terminal in the science lab. Bonus, gain 2 intel tokens. Infiltrate the sick bay. Take a medical skill test at the medical terminal in sick bay. Then take a treachery at a medical or science terminal in sick bay. Gain 2 intel tokens. And then infiltrate the bridge. Take a command skill test on the command terminal at the bridge. Take a treachery at a different character at any other terminal of the bridge. If you pass both, score this card. Now, keep in mind that 3 of your characters all have treachery skills, and Sela actually has treachery times 2, so she gets an additional 1. So if she's doing the treachery skill test, she gets 2 extra dice. Inject computer virus. Take a computer skill test at Operation Terminal and Engineer. Challenge anyone operation may challenge it. Gain some more intel tokens. Intercept diplomatic communications. Take a diplomacy skill test at a command terminal on the bridge. Challenge someone at the command. Reroute system controls. Computer skill test at the operations terminal. Any player operation may challenge it. Bonus. Change the type of any one terminal by placing a terminal token over it. So that's fun. We've seen those in the base game as well. Spread misleading information. Take a treachery skill test at any command terminal in the crew quarters. Challenge any command terminal. Steal identity records. Take a medical skill test. It is not the sick bay. Any player at medical may challenge this. Search your mission deck for a conspiracy mission card. Steal scientific data. Take a skill test at any science terminal not in the science lab. Any player may challenge the science terminal. Search your mission deck for a conspiracy mission card. Study tactical status. Take a security test at an operation is not at the bridge. If passed, score, gain intel token. The Talshar intel report. Take a treachery skill test at any terminal that is not in the bridge or engineering. Bonus. This character has a Talshar, gain a bonus action token. We actually have 2 of those. And our last mission card is Unlikely Allies. Take a treachery skill test at the command on the bridge. Challenge anyone may challenge it, gain 2. So they're going to have a lot of stuff where other players may challenge you. So this is going to make them passing their stuff a little bit harder. They do have 3 skills to start out with, which is actually very helpful. But the fact is anyone at any other terminal can constantly keep challenging them. But this should just kind of make you have to... The idea is to make them playing a little bit more. So instead of just jumping to the obvious things, they're going to be trying to get to like ones that, hey, look, nobody else is currently at a command terminal. Let me do this one. Nobody's at the science terminal. Let me do this one. So you'll kind of want to play stuff that's going to focus on where other players are so they can't challenge you. But there's definitely going to be support cards that'll help if they do try and challenge you. So then I'm going to be like, hey, bring on the challenge. We're smarter than you. So let's take a look at our support cards here. Our support cards, we're going to start off with 2 copies of the event card, Advanced Warning. Play when a friendly character takes damage or a stun token from an attack action. Choose one of the following. Reduce the damage taken by 1, or spend 2 intel tokens, reduce the damage by 3, or avoid a stun token instead. So here's where your intel is going to come in. You're going to get a ability to spend them using your event cards. So we have Ambush. Play when a hostile character ends a move action line of sight as a friendly Romulan character. That friendly character takes a free attack action against a hostile character, then gains a stun token. Spend up to 3 intel tokens to add a die to your attack for each roll. So you're going to have to spend your stuns. It's basically going to take one of your actions they might use later, but the fact is you get a free attack with them earlier on, which could be very helpful for setting up later things. We have 2 copies of Avoid Detection. Play when a hostile character ends a move action line of sight of a friendly Romulan character. Choose one of the following. Move the friendly character 2 spaces. Or spend 2 intel tokens to place that friendly character in any space that is not within line of sight of the character. Cool. So you move your character or spend intel to just go somewhere else. We have Brainwash. Your opponent chooses one of the following to apply to you. Gain 3 intel tokens or gain 2 bonus actions. I love the fact that it makes your opponent choose. Which do I think is going to be worse? Having intel to spend or 2 extra bonus actions? 2 copies of Calculated Shot. Play before rolling attack dice when your Romulan character takes an attack action. Rolling additional attack die. Spend up to 2 intel tokens, rolling an additional attack die for each token. 2 copies of Counterintelligence. Play when your opponent plays an event card. Choose a friendly Romulan character to take an opponent's treachery skill test. Your opponent chooses one of their characters to challenge it. If passed, the event card does not take effect and is discarded. Cunning Evade. Take a move action. This character may move through but not in their move-in spaces occupied by hostile characters. Bonus, if a Talshar character moves through a space containing a hostile character, gain 2 intel tokens. Two copies of Feedback Surge. Taking a opposed engineering skill test at an operations terminal. Choose a hostile character at a terminal to challenge it. If passed, each hostile character in the challenger space gains a stun token and move these hostile characters to an adjacent space. It's kind of cool. So basically you're going to like go to a terminal, challenge another player somewhere else, and then if they lose, anyone in that space, including that, because there's 2 guys in there, they get stunned and they get moved back. Gather Intel. Play before rolling any opposed dice. Opposed skill test dice as a tester. Gain intel for each success. So basically just as you roll a skill test, you can play this to gain extra every time you succeed. Holographic Deception. Taking a post-security skill test, your opponent chooses one of their characters to challenge it. Pass, gain intel for each success. We have Impersonation. Play before an opponent rolls any dice when they target your Romulan characters with an attack action. Take a Diplomacy skill test, gain an additional defense dice for each success. Bonus, gain intel token for each defense dice you cast as an attack dice. Misdirection. Taking a post-treachery skill test, choose a hostile character in line of sight to challenge it. If passed, the hostile characters move the hostile characters 1 space for each success. If another character is in the same space as a hostile character, discard 2 intel tokens to move them together. Outthink. Play before the opponent rolls dice when they would target your Romulan character with an attack action. The attacker rolls 1 less die for this attack for each intel token you have to a minimum of 1 die. That could be very powerful. Redeploy. Take a move action and move up to 2 spaces. 2 copies of Relocate Asset. Play after one of your characters scored a covert mission during their activation. Place that character in any spaces not in the line of sight of a hostile character. So these guys get teleport actions without having to be active teleporters, which is cool. 2 copies of Render Aid. Take a medical skill test. If passed, this or an adjacent character either recovers 1 damage for each success or removes a stun token. If this character is in a sick base, shuffle this card into your support deck. Sabotage Terminal. Play when the hostile character takes an unopposed skill test at a terminal before they roll any dice. The character taking a skill test takes 1 damage for each dice that is not a success. Bonus, spend intel to return this card to the copy of your support deck. We do have some Sela's Command who will only be played by her. Gain a bonus action token. Spend 3 intel tokens to gain an additional bonus action. Sela's Gambit. Reveal the top card of your opponent's support deck. If it's an equipment card, gain 2 bonus action tokens. If it's an event card, gain 2 intel tokens. Shuffle a support deck. Sela's Insight. Each one of your characters takes a cover action token. Oh, that's cool. So they basically gain extra defense until they move. There are other cards that give out them defensive and take covers, or you can choose to do it. Not a lot. Sela's Treachery. Each other player must discard a card. You gain 1 support card for each support card to discard, or 2 intel for each mission card discarded. Spread Rumors. Gain intel token for each different type of terminal you have characters at. Temporal Disturbance. Taking engineering skill test at any operations terminal. If passed, select a mission board. Each character on that board gains a stun token. Ooh, that could be fun too. 3 steps ahead. The top 3 cards of your support or mission deck. Put 1 card in your hand, turn 1 to the bottom of your deck, top of your deck, and return 1 to the bottom of your deck. Deck stacking is always fun. We do have some permanent events. Agents of the Tal Shiar may only be played during a Tal Shiar's activation. Play this card on the table. Whenever you score a covert mission, you may spend 2 intel tokens to return a covert card from your mission or support deck to a discard pile to your hand. Reliable intel with the Tal Shiar. Spend an intel token to roll additional die when defending against attack actions or when your skill test is being opposed. The Spy Network. Once per attack or opposed skill test, you may spend 1 intel token to roll any 1 die or make your opponent reroll the die of your choice. Tal Shiar Connections. Whenever you score covert missions, you may spend up to 2 intel tokens to move a friendly Tal Shiar character 1 space for each intel token. And our final event card is Underlying Plots. Play this on the table. When you score a covert mission, you may spend an intel token to make your opponent choose to either discard a card from their hand or let you gain a bonus action. So that's definitely fun. We have some equipment cards. We have the Tal Shiar Uplink. This character gains a Tal Shiar keyword. So there we go. We can give one of our other characters that ability too. Also, bonus gain 1 intel token for each covert mission this character scores. We have 2 copies of the Disruptor Rifle, which we have 1 character that already has it, but now we can give anyone that. Gives them +2 attack dice. And then finally, we have Romulan Bomb. Put the Romulan Bomb token, which we have which has the same little picture on there, into this character's space. Interrupt. At the end of any of this character's actions, all friendly and hostile characters adjacent to it in line of sight of the Romulan Bomb taking take 2 damage and discard this card and the token. End of any of this character's actions. So when you play this on a character, you put this in a space, and then during one of your actions, you can basically trigger it. So your idea is to then move and get out of the way, but maybe you're gonna just sacrifice yourself. We had that very first card, so when you're gonna someone would be KO'd anyhow or neutralized, you can gain 3 cards and some extra intel. So maybe throw this down in a crowded area, hit a bunch of characters, sacrifice your guy that maybe like 1 hit point left, and gain some bonuses for it. Very cool. It's a different way to play everything. Yeah, so these guys are going to be very interesting. They're going to run around trying to complete little challenges and do this and that. But at the same, using the intel to like boost all their extra skills and reroll dice. So they collect intel good, but then lots of people can challenge them. So they're going to have to compete a lot with their dice rolls and use their intel to boost up all their stats. Or focus a lot more on discarding cards, knowing that they have ways to gain them back, especially as Sela, where she can just gain a support card every turn. I also like the fact that there's lots of stuff that says, you know, this Romulan character, that friendly Romulan character. So again, this makes me wonder if future sets will maybe have another Romulan set. Then you could, you know, play, if you get enough extra boards, you buy a second core set. You get team versus team, like 2 Romulans versus 2 Klingon teams, or 2 Romulan versus like the Federation and Klingon. If then you can gain bonuses to those team members, right? Because they're the same, they're on your team, or your team only friendly characters only consist of your actual characters. The other thing that'd be interesting there is, again, also like playing team versus team. If you have like maybe a Federation deck later on, will have a Romulan character in there, or maybe they'll have later on like a mixed match group that's like this group, like this faction, but they'll have characters from all different races in there. And then maybe if you're teaming up with them again, you can gain bonuses. So it'll be interesting to see what they do in the future. But that was our Romulan expansion. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys later. Bye.